Impressionism is a style of art that showcases natural light, movement, and moments. Although today the original Impressionist painters are some of the most famous artists in history, they were laughed at by the public and derided by critics when they got their start. Impressionism blossomed in the 1870s in France. It was inspired by the radicalism of realism, which portrayed modern subjects instead of history, mythology, or religion. Realist art emerged about 1850 and sought to represent ordinary life truthfully. Realism also disregarded illusionism, the trick of representing three dimensions on a flat canvas. Realist artists often showed their brushstrokes and ignored the rules of perspective. Impressionists built on these ideas, creating often bright and breezy works with obvious brushstrokes, texture, unblended colors, and blurred forms. At this time, Paris was undergoing a transformation into an industrialized cultural center. Like realists, the Impressionists found their subjects in everyday life and often painted the middle class at leisure in the new city. Several artists were involved in the burgeoning Impressionist scene. Together, they defied convention by staging their own exhibitions when the traditional salons of Paris rejected their work. Their first show was held in April of 1874. It was technically a failure, with the artists incurring financial losses. Impressionism takes its name from an insult in a critic's barbed review of one of the paintings at that first exhibition. Claude Monet's 1872 work Impression, Sunrise, portrays more of a feeling of a place than a rendering of an identifiable place. With its brushwork, focus on light, and depiction of a spontaneous moment, the work illustrates some of the hallmarks of the genre. A critic likened its name to something incomplete, but the group embraced the term. Most of the group anyway. Impressionist Edgar Degas never accepted the name. Degas is known for his art featuring both lively social scenes and commoners at work in Paris, relying on his formal training to render hundreds of figures, mainly dancers. Monet would go on to become one of Impressionism's most famous members, with his repetitive series of paintings, like haystacks and water lilies, celebrated studies of changing light and color conditions. One of Monet's friends, artist Edouard Manet, helped bridge the transition from realism to Impressionism. Monet's disregard for illusionism and his choice of subjects broke with his formal training and influenced the Impressionists. In turn, he incorporated their lighter color palettes and scenes of middle-class life. Manet formed a close working relationship with artist Berthe Morisot, the only woman to exhibit at the first Impressionist show. Morisot's family supported her interest in art, even though she wasn't allowed to pursue a formal art education with men. She also usually couldn't paint in public like her male colleagues, or even leave her house without a chaperone. None of the 8 exhibitions the Impressionists staged made much money, but in the 1880s their work found a receptive audience in America, finally securing their success. Their art continues to be popular, and contemporary Impressionist painters still rely on some of the hallmarks of the style that can be traced back to a rainy day in Paris or a winter morning on the Boulevard Montmartre.